Welcome to the Women's Hoop Show. The WNBA draft is behind us, and we're just weeks away from the start of a brand new season, which starts on May 16th. And that's why today I'm joined by Autumn Johnson to kick off our mini-series of in-depth team previews. In this episode, we'll take a close look at a few teams gearing up for the season, and in the episodes to come, we'll dive into the rest. Plus, we'll touch on the latest action in the transfer portal and what it could mean moving forward. We've got a great show lined up. Let's get into it. Hey, Autumn. Welcome
Hey,
back.
Jordan. I'm so excited. It's been too long, honestly. So excited to be back.
It feels like forever, especially since the Final Four. I hope you've gotten some rest. You have recouped because you were working, and I'm so happy for you. I was texting you. I was like, no, actually, I don't want to give you any more work. I want you to take a break.
I appreciate that. I took all the spa days. I'm at home right now, so I'm seeing family, and I'm catching up on life too, like the dentist appointments, everything that you neglect when you're full in season. Like my life feels like it's back on track now. But I know you've been working too, so I'm excited we both have a little bit of downtime.
I'm so excited to be home. But let's get into what we're going to talk about today. I'm so excited because we're going to start with the transfer portal. There has been some news since we last talked. Then we're going to get into these season previews for the WNBA season. We're going to kind of break them down team by team, so we don't have to do this mega season preview episode right before the season starts. Hours long. We're going to try to break it up for you guys, okay? But let's start with this coveted transfer portal. A lot of moves have been made, and I want to clear one thing up first, because last episode we had Angel McCoughtry on, who is amazing. Love her. And we kind of talked about the transfer portal for a second. And I said that the transfer portal closes on April 22nd, which is true. But I wanted to clarify that it just closes, that no one else can enter past that date. But you can still commit beyond that. So even though we're creeping up on that deadline, it seems like everybody who's in it is in it, and they're trying to find their spot. They can figure that out until the season happens, potentially. But some people that have figured it out and have made their decisions on where they're going. Let's start with Janiah Latson. Florida State leading scorer for D1. 25 points a game. She's going to South Carolina. This was a little bit of a domino effect, Autumn, because this is a commitment that kind of pushed Mylasia Fulwiley into the transfer portal, because we didn't really know how these two were going to play with each other. Would you agree?
Yeah, completely. I mean, these players have played with each other during AAU, so I want to say that the chemistry is there, but for Mylasia to now try to have like a new chapter for herself, I think that's just her saying, hey, I'm ready to be a prominent star. She was 8th on South Carolina's entire team in minutes, averaging nearly 19 minutes per game, coming off the bench as the number 2 scorer. And this is a statement overall saying like, hey, I'm ready to be a star. And I think it all goes with fit. She has a lot of schools out there who are interested in her, but she has a no contact listed for her to come in and possibly, start that new chapter with another team. So I'm excited to see who that new fit will be, because Mylasia is a player that has this unique flair to her. She's a walking highlight, dangerous in the open court. But, for Janiah to come in for South Carolina, like I mentioned, she's played with these players before, including a Raven Johnson. She's won state championships with her in high school. So to run this back in this fashion, I think it's a great move overall. This entire time, this entire season, we've all said South Carolina needed a prominent star, that go-to player to get some buckets every single game. why not the number one scorer in the nation in Janiah Latson? So I think it's a perfect fit. And when you think about chemistry wise, I think it's already there. Now you have to connect the dots with the other players. And then, of course, Raven, I mean, there might be some rust coming in, but Dawn Staley has proven that she can get all of her teammates, her players clicking on one cylinder. So I'm excited to see how it all plays out.
Me too. I love this move. I think it is a great fit for South Carolina for Latson to go there. I'm so curious where Mylasia Fulwiley lands. We are
Same.
recording this on a Monday morning. I was just telling Autumn that my basketball spidey senses are tingling, that I feel like she's gonna announce really, really
It's coming.
soon. So hopefully
Yeah.
by the time you're listening to this, there is an announcement and there is this huge news, and we are not sad about it. We're happy about it. I
Right.
think I made the comment, she better not go to TCU, but honestly, she might.
That would
I
be
don't know.
crazy. That would be insane to pair it with Olivia Miles. That would be, I mean, it would break the entire internet, honestly.
It really would. Oh my gosh, man. Some other big ones. We talked about it. We talked about Olivia Miles from Notre Dame going to TCU, but Cody McMahon from Ohio
Mm,
State going to Ole Miss. We have a Jada Williams who was super, super high out of high school. She was at Arizona. Adia Barnes, the head coach there, she went to SMU. Jada Williams is now at Iowa State. A couple other names. And I think another big one that we're waiting on is London Jones out of UCLA. She like officially is in the
yes.
transfer portal. She's going to announce soon. And Gianna Neepkins from Utah. I love watching her play. Just a shooter.
Jordan, I just saw Janiah Barker just committed to Tennessee. I just got that notification.
Ooh.
That's major.
Okay. I like that a lot. Wait, that's kind of a perfect fit for her size. Janiah Barker was at UCLA, spent one season under Corey Close, enters the transfer portal. But with her size, her athleticism, and how Tennessee plays, I feel like that's a perfect fit. I don't know.
100% perfect fit. You think of a puzzle and just putting her right there, like perfect
Mm-hmm.
piece to the winning formula that they were missing. And this was a team that was single digits away every single time when they were going up against ranked foes from being a top 10 team. Adding Janiah Barker to the mix, you have now size and athleticism, as you mentioned, but just her ability to be that two-way player on both ends. It's physically imposing, and just her ability to come in and just shake things up in the SEC. She's closer to home. She'll be in Kim Caldwell's system, who loves to
Mm-hmm.
play with pace, press, they shoot threes. This, I couldn't think of a better fit. And just overall, when you think about the transfers that we've seen, this one is my favorite by far.
This is too. We think about how, sometimes we scratch our heads for these portal decisions, but this one makes sense. It kind of makes you wonder like why she didn't go there in the first place because but sometimes when you're able to sit back and watch a
Mhm.
team as well. Like she was at UCLA watching Tennessee be disruptive all season long and in the tournament almost got a really deep into the tournament because of their defense mostly. And she
Yeah.
was able to say, like, yeah, I can go and be a missing piece on the offensive end to this very defensive minded team. So I like this. I like this a lot.
Love it. 10 out of 10.
The transfer portal is such a mixed bag for me. A lot of mixed feelings on these players moving around, but excited to see where they land, right? I think next season it's going to be just as exciting as it was this year and they'll just be in a different jersey.
I agree. I'm excited and I'm all for players going for the right fit and what works best for them overall. Like you want to be in the best situation. And let's be honest, we all want playing time. Like that's
Yeah,
what you're here for. And you
totally.
want to be a star. These are short years, the best years in your life that you get to play. And a lot of these players are very vocal about that, saying, hey, I want more. Yes,
Mhm.
I've trusted the process in this situation, but now what else is there for me? I know NIL is a huge part of this conversation as well, what's driving others out. But for the most part, for example, on Malaysia's case, like, she's won a championship. Like,
Mhm.
she has that to her name. She's brought it back to the city she's from. Now she's looking for more minutes. It is a system that Don Staley has created that works. It wins championships. You are balanced overall on both ends, and it comes down to trusting the process. You're going to be ready for the pros. But for Malaysia, I think in her sense, she is ready for more minutes and more of a star role, and that's totally fine.
Totally fine. Totally understand that, and rooting for her. She's still gonna be a bucket wherever she goes. Some of
Mhm.
these moves, though, some of them are head scratching, and one of
Yeah.
those is Keomi McMiller, a talk about a walking highlight. Playing at
Yes.
Rutgers, she announced this morning, that she is going to Penn State. It was leaked a couple days before that, I believe on Sunday, that she would be signing with Penn State. Autumn, I don't understand this. This is probably the least surprising transfer, though. The writing was so clearly on the wall, I believe back in January when she did not suit up for a game against Juju Watkins.
Mhm.
Everyone was ready, had that circled on their calendar, and then she gets benched, not even in the building, a decision made by her head coach at Rutgers. So I think we were all like, all right, this isn't, I don't know if this is going to work. We don't know what's going on here. And so she enters the portal, goes to Penn State, but Penn State won one game last
Mhm.
season, and Rutgers did not win too many more than that. What do you think of this decision? It's her decision. It's her
It's her
choice.
decision. 100%.
But
100% her decision, and I saw the list of teams that were interested in her, so I thought she was going to lean a different direction. These are, winning programs when you look at who were on that list for her, and it also fit in her play style as well. I was very I was thrown off a little bit with Penn State. I wasn't
mhm,
expecting this decision, but I will say she's gonna be able to showcase everything and more. Like, this is gonna be her team
yeah,
through and through, and she's gonna be able to come in and just be able to take leadership of that, ownership of that. And Coach Keeger is one who loves to press and she loves to play with pace. I think Kiyomi brings that with also another unique flair, like we talked about in a Malaysia walking highlight, similar to Kiyomi. So we'll see. Maybe more wins to come for Penn State for sure, adding a bucket like a Kiyomi,
mhm,
but
mhm.
I almost wonder how that's going to work overall when you add her to the mix. We will see.
We will
It is
see.
TBD. But yeah,
Yeah.
I was a little shocked by that one.
Yeah, and I remember you, or when you just mentioned the schools that she had remaining, Tennessee was on that list, and I was
Mhm.
like, "Oh, go to Tennessee,
For
like,
sure.
this would be great, big stage." But then when you think about how Tennessee plays, kinda their 5 in, 5 out, she wants to play the whole
She wants
time,
to
she
play.
wants the ball in her hands the whole time. So I
Mhm.
just had that thought right now, yeah, that probably wouldn't have been a good fit. Alright, well, rooting for you, rooting for all the transfers in this portal. I do want to give a shout out to Talia Goodman on 3 Sports. That is the only reason I go on Twitter these days is because she is posting all of the transfer portal news, and that's how I stay up to date. I even was asking her
Yeah.
questions, and I just feel like she is an expert in the space. So shout out to Talia. Make sure to
Yes.
give her a follow. All right. Enough of this college basketball. It's the WNBA
Let's
season.
go.
It's almost here. We are less than a month away. It feels like just
Mhm.
tomorrow preseason games are going to be kicking off. So, what we are going to do is a season preview in little bite size. So, we're going to go alphabetical order. We're going to give you about 3 teams an episode leading up to opening weekend to really just talk about what happened last year, what happened in the draft, and what can we expect moving forward. So this will be take some notes, bring out a notepad of your favorite team or teams that you're interested in following because we got you covered. And of course, we had to start with the Atlanta Dream because it's the A, but then we have the Atlanta Dream expert in Autumn here already. So it just really,
Let's
really
go.
worked out. I love it. So let's give a recap of the Atlanta Dream last season. They went 15 and 25 under coach Tanisha Wright. They started out
Mhm.
strong, 4-2, but then hit a little skid there after some injuries. Jordan Canada missed 20 games. Ryan Howard was out with injuries, missed 10 games. They went 0-7 in July. It was a little bit of
Mhm.
rough time. They had the worst offensive rating in the league, but then they had a little late season spurt. They were able to get a dramatic win over the Liberty that helped them clinch a playoff spot, the 8th spot, and then they went into the playoffs and played the Liberty and then got eliminated. So we know what Ryan Howard can do. She averaged a team high 17 points per game. Tina Charles averaged the second best on the scoring, but she's not there anymore. So
Mhm.
going into this season, Autumn, we have a new coach. We have
Yep.
huge free agency pieces in Brittany Griner, Bree Jones, and Shatori Walker Kimbrough. You have an Alicia Gray and Ryan Howard coming off of Unrivaled. What are
Mhm.
some storylines that we can follow? What's the upside for the Atlanta Dream coming into this season?
Yeah, you just mentioned a lot of heavy hitters. That's a squad when you look at the Atlanta Dream and what they can do. But for me, the storyline to watch out for is, can Karl Smesko spark a culture shift in Atlanta? How quickly can this team mesh together? This is a system. I've been to FGCU. I've been to their practices before during our NCAA college road trip. They were one of our stops. So I was able to see how they operated in practice. And I see why they're such a great three-pointing team overall in these past years that's been led by his helm. I mean, it's constant shooting, three-point contests, drills that are fine-tuning these elite lethal snipers that he has on our team has on his team. So overall, I'm excited to see how that now comes over to the Atlanta Dream. And you saw in the draft how he gained Tahina Pow Pow. I mean,
Mhm.
that is still the vision for the Atlanta Dream, to be a lethal three-point shooting team. Taylor Theory will also be joining the squad. She is a big guard who can stretch the floor. She can play forward as well, just a versatile player overall. But now you have all these pieces. How do they mesh together when you bring in this? I would say this lethal front court in Bree Jones and also BG. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know who's touching that.
I
it
know.
is it is going to be everything that the Atlanta Dream needed, in my opinion. Atlanta Dream's a quick, fast-paced team, but now you add a front court who could be very unstoppable together, so I'm excited to see how that fits. Will Brittany Griner's presence be a game changer on both ends for the Dream? That's another storyline I'm looking out for. And
Mhm.
how will everyone click together under this new system?
Mhm. Well, you say that about Karl Smesko, and I looked at his roster at Florida Gulf Coast, and it wasn't even like listed as guard, forward next to the roster spots. It was just shooter. Like that's what everyone just said. It just had an S, shooter. Like that's how
Yes.
much he has leaned into I
I love
want
that.
shooters. I want to shoot threes. And
Mhm,
you think about that too. It's like we know that. Everybody knows that. Other coaches know that. So what's going to be
mhm.
the scout and how are people going to try to push them out of that? But you think about, we talk about draft picks and it's not even necessarily where you go, but it's not necessarily when you go in the draft, but where you go. And we think about a
Yes.
Pow Pow. She is a shooter, and this is like the
Mhm.
perfect place for her. So even though she was a second rounder, do you think she has a chance to make this roster?
100%, because I think she fits the mold so perfectly. You saw what she was able to do at South Carolina in her 2 years. She led the nation in threes and three-point percentage as well. Her first year at South Carolina, that bled over to the previous year, and she added a floater to her game, getting to the cup a little bit more. And I think under Dawn Staley, she really honed in on the defensive end as well. So
Mhm.
this is a dangerous player who, I mean, Atlanta Dream, they're very excited about her coming over. You have that South Carolina fan base. I mean, we are the only team in this region that people
Yeah.
can get to. They are so excited about Alicia Gray. I mean, you have that same type of energy for a Tahina Pow Pow. Atlanta Dream, they ride for the Gamecocks. I'm telling you, it is through and through so much fun in that building. But I think culture wise, just fit wise. It was the perfect selection and a steal, in my opinion. I'm not even being biased on this. I think Tahina Pow was a steal of the draft for the Atlanta Dream.
I think so too. The joke around social media was that you gotta get your tickets now because Pow Pow's family is running deep. They
Yes,
probably
they
got
come
40
so deep.
tickets a game. They are gonna have a whole
I love
section.
it.
They are going to be there. So that alone, she should make the team because they're like, hey,
Yes,
profits, we know that we go sell some tickets if Tamina
the
Pow
fans are
Pow's on
coming.
this roster. I love that so much.
Absolutely.
Well, I think the dream, my one takeaway, the talent, it feels like for years actually has been there. And
Mhm.
my questioning around Tanisha Wright's coaching was like, are you using the pieces to the best of their ability? And I think that's one of those things where she ultimately got the axe for because you didn't feel like you look at it on paper, these should be working. You should be winning more games. What is
Yeah.
not working well? So that's what I'm excited for in this new era of Shmesko because we're going to see the pieces, most of them still there. How are you going to
Mhm.
see that fit? And we're going to get Jordan Canada from the beginning being able to run this
Yes,
offense, which,
huge.
oh, we missed her for a lot of that season last year. So a lot to look forward to for the Atlanta Dream. They haven't got past the first round of playoffs since 2018. They barely made it last season. They only had one more win than the Washington Mystics, which I think puts it in perspective because we think about and we talk about the Mystics. Oh, that was a tough season. That was rough. They
Mhm.
only had one more win than them.
Yep.
So if you remember last year, it was a race to that eighth spot between them and the Mystics. So excited to see them get a deep run. Their first three games, what we'll see them in action May 7th against the Mystics. That's preseason.
Mhm.
May 10th against the Fever. And then they open the season against the Washington Mystics on the 16th. I'm so excited.
Me
I
too. I
cannot
can't
wait.
wait. Isn't this cool that we get year-round basketball? Like, we had the college basketball season, we had Unrivaled, and now we're in the WNBA. Like, it is full swing. It is everything we've been missing, and I love it. It's no off time.
It's my favorite thing. If you guys aren't watching the video, you just saw me do a
A
dance
little happy
because that is
dance.
my happy dance that the WNBA season is almost here, but it doesn't feel
Yes.
like this huge gap from when we
Mhm.
last talked about them, when we last seen them play. Usual
Yep.
preseason, previews or those type of things. It's like, well, we hope Ryan Howard was working on her game. I caught a
We saw it.
glimpse of her EuroLeague game at like 2 a.m. Like, no,
Right.
we watched it in
We saw it.
Unrivaled. We
Prime
saw
time
her.
TV.
I
It
love
was
it.
so good.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to talk Chicago Sky. Welcome back to the Women's Hoop Show. And we are continuing our season preview. And next up is the Chicago Sky. Another team, I'm going to say this every time. I'm excited to see every team. And I feel like there have been so many movements in the offseason where it makes it fresh and exciting and new anytime we're going to see these teams hit the floor. But a quick recap on the Sky. They finished the 2024 season 13-27. They missed the playoffs. They had a up and down. They had some winning
Mhm.
streaks, they had some losing streaks, but it wasn't that consistency that I think we were hoping for. It was a young team, but Teresa Weatherspoon, who was the head coach, she was fired after just one season. The decision was announced in September 2024, which I think just made everybody kind of go into a tailspin of why, because I don't think a lot of that up and down was her fault, but we digress. Now we are entering a new era with Tyler Marsh, who is a fantastic coach and was with the Aces for the past few seasons, has won championships there. And they had a ton of trades and movements. I think the big ones that I want to call out is Courtney Vandersloot going there in free
Mhm.
agency. They signed Kia Nurse. They just signed Jessica Carter recently. They got Rebecca Allen from the Connecticut Sun and Lindsay Allen. So they have some pieces that they are
Yeah.
working with, and they surrounded their superstar and Angel Reese and Kamilla Cardoso with some solid pieces. And then in the draft, they get Aisha Sivka from Slovenia, and they got Haley Van Lith and Maddie Westbeld. big time college players coming over that, this is going to be a tough training camp when I really look at the roster that they
Mhm.
have. But the Sky, Autumn, coming into this season, what are they going to look to do with the new coach of Tyler Marsh and try to capitalize on the momentum they got last season, but ultimately get some wins?
Yeah, and you mentioned in our last segment about the playoff mix of Washington Mystics and also the Atlanta Dream. Chicago Sky were right there
Yeah.
in that three-team race for the playoffs for that 8th spot. So just barely missed out. I think what we can expect to see is the now development in year 2 for Kamilla Cardoso and Angel Reese and what that's going to look like to become one of the best front court tandems in the WNBA with now a year of chemistry underneath their belts together. I feel like for them to really take things to another level, they're going to have to be the most physical and productive front courts to ultimately help this team push forward for that playoff race. And I
Mhm.
want to see like more high low action between them and just overall Angel Reese, what she has done this off season has been incredible to see how she has grown with Unrivaled. How does that now translate to the W? And I think what Tyler Marsh can do is just that. I mean, we've seen what he's been able to do in the mix of an Asia Wilson over with the Las Vegas Aces. Now, how
Mhm.
does that carry over to help these young stars develop? And that's the key word of this young stars. Like you mentioned, everyone coming in. I think overall, Courtney Vandersloot was incredible to pick that type of caliber player up when you think about championship pedigree, just a veteran leader overall, and someone who can take Haley Van Lith underneath her wing and help her grow and learn. It's going to be exciting to see how this revamped roster can return to the playoffs. That's the end goal for this team. And it all comes down to the new, fresh identity that Tyler Marsh is going to implement for them to get that job done.
I love what you said there about Sloop because that is the thing that I circle biggest when I think about the Chicago Sky. I couldn't
Mhm.
imagine a more perfect point guard to really settle in this
Yes.
new offense. And I would also want to throw out there Michaela Onyenwere had a great season last year for the Sky, and I think
Mhm.
she's going to come back more in like this. I'm a vet now and I am a starter and I earned my spot on this team
Yeah.
and was able to really do that towards the end of the season. We talk about them barely missing the playoffs. Angel Reese, had a wrist injury those last couple games. Wonder if she was
Mhm.
healthy, would they have made the playoffs? Like there's a lot of what ifs. So I'm looking forward to Sloot settling the offense, getting a ton of assists. Pick and roll action is going to be impossible to stop. And this whole idea of can two bigs in the WNBA, in the league that it is now, who are typically back to the basket, can they do well? Typically
Mhm.
we have seen a two big lineup, at least one can step out and shoot the three and be
Yeah.
able to space the floor. We
Mhm.
saw Angel Reese working on her shot in Unrivaled. We saw her working with Lisa Leslie on her footwork. So I'm excited to see if she does step out more and shoot that three. I think last season she was about 18%. It wasn't going well, but she was at least not shy, trigger shy from taking it from deep. I want her to step
Mhm.
out more. Like I think that would just open up their offense just a little bit more if sometimes on the pick and roll she pops. I I would
Yeah.
I would love to see that. So that's something I'm looking forward to too.
I would love to see that too. And they have a lot of depth in the front court too to mix and match and see what they can do and produce. So Jessica Carter, who's going to try to come in and make this squad, can also stretch the floor. You have Elizabeth Williams, who's going to come in healthy. She's a back to basket player, but she can also work in that mid range game as well. But if not, you have plenty of guards surrounded around you, like an Ariel Atkins who's coming over, and I'm
Yes.
excited to see that come through a Rebecca Allen. You have who else? Michaela Onyenwere, who you
Mhm.
mentioned, Courtney Vandersloot, Rachel Banham as well. You have a lot of pieces around you that can stretch the floor so they can operate down low.
Man,
It's a
yeah,
squad.
now that we're looking at this is,
Like,
they really did some work here in the off season. Okay, Ariel Atkins, I apologize. We did not mention you soon enough, because that was a huge get from Washington. And she's a shooter too. I think that was the thing they were missing last year is really that, okay, we need a three-pointer right now in the game. Who can we draw a
Mhm.
play up for? Now they have a plethora of options there. And Kia Nurse had a phenomenal
Yes.
going at Athletes Unlimited. It was
Yeah.
so fun to watch her have fun and enjoy
Mhm.
the game. I think with the Sparks last season, it was just a lot. It was a lot that needed to go down with the Sparks, and it was a lot on her to really score a ton of points. And I think she started off really strong in the season, but kind of faded away.
Mhm.
And I'm super excited to see how she continues that momentum from Athletes Unlimited and becomes a knockdown shooter in Chicago. All right,
Yeah.
Chicago. I
We
wanna know
see you.
from the fans, like, are you feeling excited? I feel like you should be because this is gonna be good. I know the sting of Teaspoon getting fired and also this weirdness around Kennedy Carter not being on the
Mhm.
team this year, but had such a fantastic season last year. And now Kennedy Carter is still looking for a spot. She's still trying to find her way. So I
Mhm.
hope Chicago fans let us know. I hope you're excited because now
I
I
think
am.
they are. I think they are with
Okay.
all the off-season pieces that they got. Obviously, just devastating 2 losses with Teaspoon and also Kennedy Carter. Like,
Yeah.
that was the heartbeat, the soul, that dog mentality of the team coming in, so you lose that, but you bring in some exciting pieces. When I look at the silver lining of exciting college stars and the Haley Van Lith, that reunited feel of Angel Reese, teaming up with her and trying to run it back. And also Maddie Westbelt, like,
Mhm.
she is coming from this season, just with Notre Dame overall. She had an injury, but working through that, this is one of the best bigs in the college game when we look at the versatility that she brings. She can put the ball on the floor, she can get to the cup, she is lethal in the mid-range, she can stretch the floor. She's a
Mhm.
do-it-all post for the Chicago Sky team that when she comes in, she can provide that type of spark for them coming off the bench.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a great point. She can stretch the floor. If she
Mhm.
is, coming off the bench, she can definitely do that, and she can shoot. My thing is, I actually have not seen Cardoso in the offseason. I think that's one player that I would wanna look up some film or where she's been playing and see how she has grown.
Yeah.
There's not I mean, she has a really strong game. She has a huge post presence. She's able to get boards, she's able to take up space, but just the touch and finishing around the rim, and if she got stronger in the off season, I would be really curious to see. Have you been able to watch anything
You
from
know,
her in the off season?
that's a great point. I
Yeah,
haven't. No.
yeah,
But not to say she hasn't, but I personally haven't seen it.
yeah.
But I'm really excited to see how she comes in during her preseason game versus Brazil. Like, this could provide some juice, some spark playing against a team you're familiar with. A lot of fans coming over to LSU to watch Angel Reese and even Haley Van Lith. Like, I think overall that sets the tone of things. But
Mhm.
yes, I think overall it's going to be exciting to see the year of the rookies, the year they had, how that leap is coming into year 2. You wanna get better, you wanna get stronger to be able to add to your team, and I know they were working on multiple things that they could add to their bag to add to their teams.
By the way, I love that the W is doing this preseason tour to go back to college campuses. That is
It's so important.
so smart, and it is
Yes.
important, and it is not where the W is, but you give them a chance to see these superstars. I know this is not a Hoop Roots segment, but this reminds me of the ABL, which was a league that started right before the WNBA. They really
Mhm.
leaned into the superstars and their colleges. And so
Yeah.
there were teams in, Atlanta because that's where Teresa Edwards was. And then they had a
Mhm.
team in Connecticut because of the Yukon Stars. So Jennifer Azzi had a San Jose team because she went to Stanford. So it was very much like, hey, we're going to build off of this
So smart.
college teams and this
Yep.
experience. And it was so smart because there was already a built in fan base. So WNBA, we don't give you too many too many flowers that you're doing right
This
in the
is
marketing.
flowers for sure.
This is a good
Flowers
thing.
for sure, because you want to bridge that gap and keep
Yes.
college fans engaged and make it accessible too of those who loved you going to LSU every single game to see you. Now I get to just drive down the street and see you again and watch you grow and develop. So smart. I need more of it. 10
Yeah.
out of 10.
10 out of
Like
10.
we're going to get, I think it's like Aces versus Dallas Wings as well at Notre Dame. You think of all the star power there, all the buckets that came through that building, all there in just year 5, year 6, year 7. Like I need it. I need more of it.
I know. But before we give too many flowers, are these going to be televised? That's what we need to find out. I hope so.
So I know for yes, it'll be on Ion because
Okay, you'll be working it.
Yes, I'll be working. So I know for a fact it will be televised. I'm like,
okay, great.
Yes,
We got
actually.
the inside. This is a trusted source.
See you guys there.
I love it. I love it. Okay, great. Chicago, their first 3 games that they have opening the season. Of course, it starts with the Indiana Fever on May 17th because, of course, that's going to be so great. Then we have May 20th against the Liberty, which the Chicago Sky, if they didn't play well against anybody else, they played great against the Liberty last season every single time. So that's going to be fun. And then May 23rd, they have the Connecticut Sun. So all their first 3 games on the road. But it's going to be really, really good. I'm so excited. All right. We're going to take another break, and then we're going to talk about the Connecticut Sun on the other side. Welcome back to the Women's Hoop Show. We are still doing our season preview, and next up is the Connecticut Sun. Now, as I look over all of these notes on what happened last season, it really doesn't matter because none of those people are there, but I will still say them. So last season, they had a franchise best 28 regular season wins. They were 28-12. They had the number 3 seed in the standings. I mean, probably if you're a Connecticut fan, just cover your ears. Maybe skip past this part because this is a little sad. But they went to the semifinals, started on a 9-0 winning streak, one of the longest in WNBA history. I mean, had a 13-1 record. Wow. They were off to a great start. And then we get to free agency. And this is where it all went downhill. First, I think, or I don't know if it was first, but I know Stephanie White, she is now the head coach of the Indiana Fever, going back to the Fever. So that was kind of the first domino to fall. Then it was Alyssa Thomas and Ty Harris going to the Phoenix Mercury. Now Harris is with the Dallas Wings. Dejanay Carrington is with the Wings. Bree Jones, like we mentioned, is on the Atlanta Dream. And then DeWanna Bonner followed Stephanie White and is in with the Indiana Fever. Now, you still have Marina Mabry. She's still there. Her trade request, after everything was falling apart around her, was denied. So she is still there. Natasha Cloud was there for a hot second. And then now she is with the New York Liberty. You got some good pieces in the draft. That's a positive. You got Anissa Morrow from LSU, and you got Sanaya Rivers from NC State. You also got Araya Marshall from USC coming in at the 25th overall pick. So a lot of international influence, I think, because you have a new head coach in Rasheed Méziane, who has been coaching Belgium, a lot of international squads. So brought some of his players. He was like, hey, I got this new coaching job. Come ride with me in Connecticut with the Mohegan Sun. So, Autumn, it's an interesting situation because we can't say, well, last season this happened, so this is going to happen. This is a whole new era of Connecticut Sun basketball. How should the fans be feeling about this era? Let's start there.
They're a little sad. I mean, this was a team that it's a staple to get to the semis. They are literally hairs away to breaking through to getting that championship. and then you blow up the entire squad. Stephanie is not there as well. She's with the Indiana Fever. So, you have a whole new system. Yes, you bringing exciting college players with, Anissa Morrow, Snia Rivers, Rhea Marshall also got picked up. Diamond DeShields is there to
Yes.
bring some championship pedigree. Lindsay Allen as a point guard. Like you have a
Mhm,
good mix,
mhm.
and Marina Mabrey as well. So you have some key pieces that you can work with. But by all means, this is going to be a developmental year for a lot of these young players, and it's going to be a fresh start. Like I would not call this a playoff team, but it's a
Mhm.
team who could work together to start to create some noise around them and try to be feisty as possible and competitive while integrating new talent, a new system. But overall, and also you have Tina Charles as well and Olivia Nelson
Yes.
Ododa. So
Yes.
so that
Yes.
front court is going to try to hold down things while trying to bring their younger talent along with them.
Yes. I think those are fantastic points. Tina Charles going back to, the Sun. I feel like this is her retirement tour. She wanted to kind of go
Yeah.
back to the beginnings, which I love that so much. I love what you use feisty because
Mhm.
we talk about fit and draft picks kind of landing. Anissa Morrow, Sanaya Rivers, there is zero pressure for you to come in and get this team to a championship next year.
Mhm.
Like you can come in and ball out, be feisty, be scrappy, be the team that teams hate to play against. Like they don't want to
Mhm.
play Connecticut. Oh my gosh, I've got to play against Anissa Morrow and Sanaya Rivers and Marina Mabrey's. It might be a fight. I don't know. Like that's what you kind of like be that
Yes.
team. Like that's okay to be that team, especially when the ceiling and the bar is really low in the win-loss
Mhm.
column for this season. Maybe I do think they did well in the draft, but they're probably not going to be a playoff team like you mentioned. Then you get into next year's draft and you think about the
Mhm.
prospects that are coming next season, and that's where you can
Oof.
start really building this team. So just kind of get by this
Mm.
year. Then it's also a new CBA, so who knows where everyone's going to be. But
Facts.
be that feisty, annoying, like a little gnat. Like be that
Mhm.
team. I think that's what their identity could be.
I think a lot of these players embody that identity as well. Like, yes, you lose Alyssa Thomas, but you get the same type of feisty, like dog, like engine motor that Anissa Morrow brings. And I'm kind of interested to see like what position she'll play in
Mhm.
because she was an undersized post coming in from college. But will she play the three? Will she play the four? I think overall, if you have these type of players that can buy into that type of identity, yes, I would hate to play the Connecticut Sun because they do have pieces. It's just from scratch. Like,
Yeah.
what will they be? We don't know. We have to see the product on the floor. But I think they did it right with the pieces they brought on. As Sanaya Rivers, who is a two-way nightmare. She plays so well in the open court.
Mhm.
Just hard to stay in front of as well. She's long and athletic. Excited to see how it all translates to the next level. But a Marina Mabrey can help these type of players also transition and lead them into a way that they know how to be pros. She
Mhm.
she can buy into that role as well and be a leader on this team in that sense.
Yeah, and just some other names you mentioned Lindsay Allen, JC Sheldon is also on this team too, Yvonne Anderson. They have a lot of people. They have a lot
Mhm.
of people going into this training camp, but I think that makes sense because you're trying to figure out what this team is going to look like and what's the identity is going to be. Now, we talk about buy-in. If you're Marina
Mhm.
Mabrey and you requested a trade, you don't want to be there anymore. And there was a lot of hoopla on social media when that trade was denied
Yeah.
because, her agent was like, why would you want to keep someone there who doesn't want to be there? We haven't seen her play in Unrivaled. Could she sit out? Like, could she just not play if she does not want to be a part of this rebuild? She has already expressed that pretty clearly. What
Mhm.
is her best path forward of trying to get the best out of her WNBA season or most out of her WNBA season, but also at a place that she doesn't want to play?
What's interesting is I saw Marina Mabrey welcome in Sanaya Rivers and Anissa Mara. It seemed like they were at the airport. So just
Hmm.
welcoming them in, that's a good sign to me. Like, and they a TikTok, like you're getting her in the rhythm, and there was like this
Yes.
whole her bit of dancing and whatnot, and they were dancing along with her. If they can get her excited about this new chapter, I think that is a fresh page for Marina Mabrey to get excited about. And
Hmm.
you see the product on the court. Tina Charles, I want everyone to know that like they should stop sleeping on her. She just won a championship overseas, as a matter
Hmm.
of fact. But
Hmm.
what I saw during the Atlanta Dream is consistency every single night from Tina Charles. Like what she provides as the fourth all-time leading scorer in the WNBA.
Yeah.
Like, she still brings it every single night. She was close to retiring. She thought she was done, but came back and had the year she did with the Atlanta Dream. I think you need to see it out on the floor. You have these young, exciting players around you. For me, I think that kind of shifts things when you think about, all right, I'm in. Let's do this. Let's make the best of this situation until things probably get figured out.
Hmm. Yeah. I did see the TikTok now that you mention it. She looked really happy dancing.
She
And
looked
maybe
happy.
yeah, and maybe she was I don't know this to be true, but Marina being in the war room, like, who are rookies that you would be excited to play with? And you have picks with Anissa Morrow and Sanaya Rivers. She's like, "Okay, that's not too
Mhm.
bad. Like, that's not too bad. Let me give this a shot." But the same goes for Marina Mabrey, especially coming up against a CBA season where it's going to be a lot of mix up. Ball out this year, and then you're able to really showcase, like, put this on your resume of what you can do as one of, if not the number one option on a team. That's
Yeah.
what I feel like Marina Mabrey has been searching for. When she got out of Dallas, I feel like it was because she was the second option to Enrique. Then
Mhm.
she goes to Chicago and was there for a hot second. And, a lot of it was moving around other guards or around Angel. Now we're going to come to Connecticut. She wasn't the number one option, but it was in a system that was set up to win a championship. And that's what it felt great. Now you are the lone survivor of this free agency period. And you can be that number one option. Like, show everybody what we know can be true. Like, she is a bucket getter. We saw it in Notre Dame. We've
100%.
saw it in her career before. I think she could take this opportunity to really showcase her skill set, her leadership, to be able
Mhm.
to say, all right, we got a young team, everything's in flux. Get on my back and let's be this disruptive, feisty team.
I agree. We'll
Okay.
see how it we'll see, but
So,
I think it's a great situation overall when you think about the pieces that are coming in, and I can't say enough about these young stars. Like, I've covered all of their years in college. They're hungry, they're dogs,
mhm.
and I remember even during the NCAA tournament when I was talking to Anissa Morrow, she was having a conversation with Kim Mulkey, and she was like, I don't wanna misquote her, but she was saying, like, "You need to be hungry," and she was like, "Coach, I'm starving." Like,
Mm,
if I hear that, I'm running through a wall for this type of player because that's what she brings every single night. So, there's some dogs on this team. You think of
mhm.
a Diamond DeShields who's also trying to get, her things going with a
Yeah.
new start, with a new team. This could be something that could be a surprise to all, and why not be that feisty contender that can knock some teams off and show, "Hey, we're here."
Connecticut Sun fans, if you're not pumped up after this conversation, because I came into after we came back from break, I was like, "Oh god, what we gonna talk about
Yeah.
with this Connecticut Sun?" Now I'm feeling pretty confident. I'm feeling really excited
I
to see them
feel
play.
good.
I'm convinced that this is gonna be a feisty team. Now, we're gonna see how these predictions or these conversations
Right.
hold up throughout the season, but I'm feeling pretty good, which I was not feeling coming into this conversation. So I hope you guys feel the same way. Their
We
first
both
3
talked our
games.
way through it.
Yes, we
Yeah.
talked our way. We like, you know what?
Because I was like, actually,
Now
because
that you
I wasn't feeling good
mention it.
either. I was like, yeah, yeah, actually.
You know what? Hell yeah. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I like this. Which I think you just have to do. And I also know that that is just the WNBA in general. There's just so much talent on one team that when you really start to break it down, you're like, that's why the whole super team conversation. Every team is a super team because there's so much talent
Facts.
on all of these teams. So excited to see how that plays out. I was just going to say their first 3 games heading into it. May 18th, they got the Washington Mystics. The May 20th, they got the Aces. And then the 23rd, they got the Lynx. So not an easy start to those first couple games. You got to figure it out pretty quick and on the
Yeah.
fly. But overall, super excited about the beginning of the WNBA season. We're going to keep this going, breaking it down with about 3 teams each time. But Autumn, thank you so much for your expertise, for being here, for talking me through it, holding my hand as we
Me
go
too.
through this.
We held each other's hands.
We did.
The top three was a common theme. New coaches, we'll see how it goes. Like, I really feel like that's how it is. We're gonna have to see the product on the floor, but we got through this together. I appreciate that.
We got through it.
This is a good preview.
Good preview. We'll keep going. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow on your favorite podcast app so you never miss an update. Your support means the world. And if you're feeling generous, leaving a quick rating or review helps more Hoops fans discover the show. And you can now see us on our brand new YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe there. Also, our inbox is open for business. Shoot us an email at women'shoops@odyssey.com to tell us what's on your mind. We want to hear your hottest takes about the draft, your burning questions about the upcoming season, and all your feelings about all things women's hoops. We just might feature your note on the show. That's women'shoops@odyssey.com. The Women's Hoop Show is an Odyssey original podcast hosted by me, Jordan Robinson. Today, our co-host was Autumn Johnson. Our producer is Phil Switek. Our video team is led by Kurt Courtney and includes Tim Meikle, Evan Cox, Allison Jeffrey, and Lauren Vieira. Our executive producers are Greg Holtzman, Asha Saluja, Danny Freisinger, Maddie Sprunkheiser, and Leah Reese Dennis. And special thanks to Moira Curran and Josephina Francis.